Oi, this is the Profanity Gnome, and I'm here to tell you that if you're under 13 years old, fuck off this video! Get the fuck off YouTube! Get your mama to get your dad's cock out of her ears and actually be a parent! This is for adults only! And for everybody else, enjoy the video. I'm going to ask this once, gent. What did you tell our creator?
What? We were just passing around ideas for what we can do for the She-Ra season finale.
This is the same motherfucker who put us through the Pony Wars. What the hell could you have possibly given him?
I was just coming up with an idea that I thought you might like.
Wait, that I might like?
Don't have to. That big building over there says everything you need to know.
Is that a Smash Bros. Coliseum?
Yeah, our creator thought about it, and he thought it was too soon, but I said, why the fuck not? It's the She-Ra season finale. If we're gonna use it on anything, why not on that? So, do you like it?
Thank you, Dan!
I thought he would like it.
Well, that, does look interesting. But, you know, we shouldn't let him just go off on his own like that. Perhaps one of us should, follow him and make sure he doesn't...
Satan, do you want to participate in the Smash games too?
Oh my dad, yes!
It's fine. We can always divide and conquer. Whoever wants to go to Smash, go to Smash. Whoever wants to stick here and review She-Ra, you're with me. But until then, this is launch. The episode begins with Big Dick Daddy Prime giving a message to all of Etheria, telling them that he's got the biggest dick in the galaxy, and if anybody wants to challenge that, please step forward, especially She-Ra. He really wants to see how he measures up to her. But the message is enough to intimidate even the princesses into thinking that they don't have a chance, except for Entraptra, because Entraptra is Entraptra. We later cut to Adora trying to take a nap, only to give Bo a near heart attack because she can't seem to figure out how to rest. And Bo tries to put her back to bed and tries to give her a break, and then everybody, and I mean everybody, decides to do their best impression of the Kool-Aid Man in order to interrupt Adora to the point where Bo actually snaps and kicks them all out. Even Entraptra! Yeah, how could you do that to this little baby face? Though it is nice to see that Bo's finally grown some balls and not taking the princess's crap as much as he used to. And he's not even doing it in the mean way. He's doing it in a, we need to care for Adora right now, and everyone is preventing her from being restful. And since Bo is on babysitting Dua and Adora is out of commission, we finally get something that I've been wanting since Season 1. An episode where the princesses actually do something without the core cast being there. And finally we get to hear their input without them being overshadowed by the terrible, terrible main cast. And we get to see their interactions of how they try to plan out and strategize for what comes next. And all of them are taking it relatively seriously as much as they can, except for Entraptra, who is just over-glorifying the idea of space adventure. But even with all their planning and all of their strategizing, they still don't know what to do. They need to get Princess Tumbler back. I'm still not entirely sure why they want to get Princess Tumbler back, but they still need to get her back, I guess, for plot reasons. And the only one who can actually help them do this, that Scorpia reminds everybody, is Entraptra, because she's the only one who understands the technology of space travel. So, whether they like it or not, they're stuck with this little batch of ADD adorableness. Now, something that I regretfully have to admit, that I'm willing to allow Entraptra a lot of slack on the whole annoyance factor, but something about these past 2 episodes, they seem to dial her personality up to an 11, and they're really pushing what I'm allowing her to get away with, as far as from being quirky and funny to just being flat out annoying. But speaking of less than annoying characters, we cut back to Tumblr, who's throwing a tantrum, and Katra is just beyond her cell looking in, as she is forced to interact with one of the clones of her former boss, who she is clearly not comfortable with, as he begins chastising her just like the good old days. I'm pretty sure this is a clone and not our Hordak, so don't jump me on that. But then we get to see a very disturbing set of images, as it turns out that Horde Prime has the ability to possess any one of his Horde soldiers at any time in a very creepily done fashion, as he does that weird thing where he's threatening her without threatening her in a holier-than-thou sort of way, and again, he's coming off as kind of a douche. But considering his position, I don't imagine him being anything other than a douche, complaining that his dick is so large that no woman could possibly handle him. So, he takes Tumblr away, and they two exchange looks that shows just how bad of a situation they're in, because they can sympathize with each other.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I can't wait! I know, it feels like forever since we've been in a good fight.
Do you think they would mind if we took cutsies in line?
Settle down, you two. This is still a major competitive event.
Please be reminded that any and all contestants must take a healthy dose of Nerf if you are above a certain power scale. Repeat, all contestants above a certain power scale must take a healthy dose of Nerf, the power leveling agent. Remember, Nerf or nothing!
Oh, we're not allowed to go all out? That's bullshit. Well, it makes sense. There's some pretty powerful opponents here.
Well, power scaling is bullshit anyway. We later cut to sleeping Adora as she's having visions in her sleep. The same vision she was having in the last episode. So I guess these random images must mean something. Well, she wakes up and discovers a light outside. She decides to take her broken gem sword. Hold on, that gem wasn't broken before. And if it was, we never saw it. When did it break? I'm sure it wasn't when the sword broke. Did Bo drop it? Or worse yet, did Frosta punch it and break the crystal? All I know is that gem was not broken when She-Ra broke the sword. Well, regardless, Adora decides to follow the glowy lady, which is kind of starting to remind me of The Last Airbender. We then cut to the other princesses who are still coming up with a plan in order to figure out what they're going to do next. What they've come up with so far, they're going to have Entraptra hack into one of the towers as they sneak by all the robots. The only problem is there's a lot of robots, and there's not a lot of them. Wait a minute, wouldn't it be a good idea to have Natasa and Spinnerella on this mission? I mean, they could use all the assets they can get. I guess they're still not important enough to be part of the main princess squad. So, Mermista of all princesses is taking charge and directing the mission, though you can clearly tell she's not that experienced at it. And to further cement this, she takes her eyes off Entraptra for like 5 seconds and she's already run off. And we all know by now that you don't leave Entraptra unattended when there's big tech involved. Now that I think about it, what are Spinnerella and Natasa doing right now? I mean, I should probably go tell them about the mission. Hold on, I think they're in this tent. Hey, you should probably know it. Wow, I never knew Spinnerella for a chunky chick could bend her leg that far. We later cut back to Tumblr, as Prime is still trying to break her will and get her to divulge the information he desires, by showing off all of the things in his trophy case, of all the worlds he's conquered, even hands her his most valuable possession in all this. And, in order to further cement of how hopeless her situation is, he shows her pictures of the battles that's going on, and her father, and oh right, I forgot. Tumblr doesn't know that her daddy's alive. I've kinda forgot that. Oh well, she doesn't seem to really care, as she smashes his most valuable possession and tells him, "Fuck off, I am not sleeping with you." But Hordak doesn't seem to mind, as he plans on roofing her later. Come on, look at that grin. We all know he's thinking that. We cut back to the Princess Squad as they're trying to carefully sneak around in order to get through the desert terrain in order to get to the nearest towering spiral. All while trying to keep Entraptra under control, to the point where they have to drag her by a leash. But unfortunately, even with that leash-dragging skill of Perfuma, she ends up somehow running off anyway, having her and Perfuma cut off from everybody else. Mermista tries to give some incognito directions, but has to straight up tell Perfuma that Entraptra wandered off on her own. And then she accidentally bumps into one of the robot sentinels, and that look suggests something. Is Entraptra going to fuck the robot? I mean, one way or another, one of those two is getting penetrated after that look.
I ship it. What, you're not going to tell me not to ship it?
Normally I would, but given Entraptra's thing for machines, I wouldn't put it past her. Well, the robot pretty much says I'm not into girls, and then Frosta freezes him over. But unfortunately doing so causes the whole alarms to break loose, and all the robot drones begin to attack. Now, any semblance of them having a sneak mission is foiled. And why? Well, it's all thanks to Entraptra, who's so oblivious of the situation where Mermista has to tell her straight up, you're the one who fucked us over. Because you can't get it out of your head that this isn't some field trip for some special tech. We are on a mission of war. And Entraptra, after seeing the looks on everyone's faces, including Best Princess Scorpia, Entraptra realizes she really fucked up. And she admits that the only reason she was so gung-ho about the technology was because she doesn't know how to deal with people very well. Which normally I would chalk that up to shit we already know, but this is Entraptra. She's really too much of an introvert around people. But this is the first time she's admitting it without dropping her mask, which I gotta admit is some character development. But then she tries to run off in order to complete the mission in order to try to make up for it. And even though Mermista says don't, she still insists on completing the mission. And then the drones attack. So, with Mermista, Scorpia, Frosta, and Perfuma backing her up, Entraptra goes at it in order to try to get the mission completed. And so the battle begins, as the princesses try to fend off the robots, and Entraptra tries to hack into the technology. And then she manages to do it, but she also finds the good news with the bad. Isn't it nice seeing all the other side characters getting development? Even if it's mostly on Entraptra getting the development, I am still so happy that they're finally doing something with the princesses other than just have them being bystanders.
Meow.
Oh. Yeah, I know. We gotta go back to the main cast. So Adora keeps following her avatar vision as it leads her right into another hallucination where she sees the portal that initially brought her through to Etheria in the first place. And Adora, I guess, decides herself that she doesn't regret destroying the sword and her gems somehow, but she's willing to keep on the fight and spread She-Ra's name in glory and protect her world no matter the cost. So she learned nothing? Just, I don't know. Anyway, she wakes up, sword still busted, and Bo's just happy she's okay. And then Entraptra gives them a call and says the good news, they know where a tumbler is, unfortunately. But then the bad news, they have to leave now because Horde Prime is sending reinforcements. Which, when they get here, there would be no escaping the planet. So, if now's the time, now's the time. So they rush to the spaceship, and they all give their heartfelt goodbyes. And even Entraptra is starting to get a little teary-eyed as she's finally being welcomed among the other princesses, not as a outlander, but as an equal. And they all have a group hug, knowing that the Princess Alliance, Bo included, is finally finally working together. And Adora makes the best decision of her life and leaves the horse behind. Now, unfortunately, the other princesses don't go along, but they are able to distract the other robots just long enough for Adora to escape the planet, as King Micah shows that he works the original Adora outfit than Adora does. No, seriously, look at those golden locks. Ugh. I know this is sort of the guy in the dress cliche, but honestly, he makes the new She-Ra outfit work better than the actual girl that's supposed to be in it. It kinda only proves the people who are saying she was too masculine in that outfit right, when a guy pulls it off better. So they attack everybody, they destroy all the robots, and Adora manages to make it off-world. King Micah slightly regrets not being able to go with, which I kinda slightly regret too, because as much as I don't like Tumblr, it is his daughter. But it's okay, because he trusts in Traptra, Bo, and Adora, and he believes that his daughter's in safe hands. But those hands may not actually be Adora's, as Tumblr discovers that Catra just keeps visiting her. I'm guessing because, well, she's trapped on a ship full of people who look like her old boss. And considering the laser blasts of the last time they talked, that's not a good thing for her. Tumblr needs Catra, and Catra needs Tumblr at this time. So, at least they're laying the groundwork for a possible prison break for the two of them to have. And that was Launch. I can nitpick a few things, but overall a pretty solid episode. Meow. Yeah, Entraptra was played a little bit too oblivious and annoying for my liking, but not terrible. And I still don't understand this whole light being that Adora's experiencing. Sort of like a Avatar state bullshit, which is kind of Avatar state no matter how you look at it. But I'm not sure if it's enough to call ripoff. But there's definitely a lot of heavy influence there. And I'm just so happy that this episode managed to do what I've been asking the show to do for so long. Give the princesses screen time. But unfortunately, from the sounds of it, this is probably going to be one of the only episodes where the princesses are going to have any sort of relevance. And unfortunately, Spinnerella and Natasha weren't able to take any kind of part. But what else is new? This is Season 5. If they're not going to do it by now, they're just not going to do it. And naturally, the groundwork is being laid very much in advance for Catra and Tumblr to team up in order to at least escape the ship. I gotta give praise for that one. They're actually not just going to have this happen suddenly out of the blue. And it does have the possibility for Catra's redemption, but there's still not enough there for me to believe that Tumblr truly changed. But as Horde Prime still continues to be built up to be this grand ultimate final boss, it's only going to be that much more impressive when they finally defeat him. If they can defeat him. And hopefully, we get to see a lot of payoffs with all the things they're building up for. But only the future will tell. So until then, we're the Cartoon Gentlemen, the organizers of Chaos as Vintage Kings. And now, we are currently split up for our next installment of our story.
Spartans on the left, Saiyans on the right, and all manner of creature in between. Oh, this Smash thing is gonna be epic!
I wonder if our creator is going to have additional voices for all these characters.
Doesn't matter to me. All that matters is fucking Smash.
I couldn't agree more, Commando.
Okay, creator. Now you got my attention.